What's going on, good people? Hope there's enough light. It's kind of dark, but it's Pluto. I'm back with the Pluto series, Pluto in Cancer. Your private dancer, waiting for the moonlight. I think it's fitting to kind of be doing Pluto in Cancer and the sun setting. You know what Pluto is, right? Hades, the underworld. But this is about power, sex, death, and rebirth, pain, trauma, crises, obsession, inheritance, debt, sudden events. It's the magnetism. Pluto is psychology, the occult, tarot, numerology, white magic, black magic. But Pluto in Cancer, we're talking about 1914 to 1938. So 2 world wars, depression, roaring 20s. I mean, you had a little bit of everything in this time. You know, these people, a lot of them are either 107 or pretty much, you know, they're a lot of them are not still here. Your grandparents, your parents, your great-grandparents, and really 83 to 107 years old. They call it the greatest generation. It's Pluto in Cancer. So what's CancerTheCrab? Ruler of the moon, right? 4th house, cardinal water sign. So you're really talking about people that were about home, their homeland. Whether you were from America, Great Britain, India, this was a time where people were trying to find their way in the world to provide safety, security, and home, right? That family unit, the nurturing, the caring. This generation saw a lot of poverty, a lot of having to share clothing, having to share food, beds, you know. We saw out of this the formation of the Industrial Revolution. Hey, birdie. This generation when you think of Pluto with the moon, you're talking about a lot of transformation of the female energy in the home. Women not having the control, not having any power, seen as either only homemakers, cleaning ladies, teachers. This was a difficult time worldwide in terms of the perception of what a mother and woman and even families could and should be. You know, I think that what's really deep is that I know with my own father, born in this time, he hated that he had to share his clothing with his brothers. And that made him go out and hustle and start his own shoe shine business. You see, these people had deep, intuitive almost magical manifesting powers. And really, you need to know, like always I say, hit me up at taylor2coaching@gmail.com. I'm going to get a birth chart done. Most of these people probably aren't getting birth charts. But, if and can figure out and know the time they were born, a lot of people, it wasn't listed. You're guessing, but what's fascinating is that, like, I was able to figure out my father's birth chart, and I'll do a whole video showing that, but Pluto in Cancer, like if you're a Leo ascendant and you got Pluto in Cancer in the 12th house, wow. Or if, these people have it in the 4th, the 8th, the water houses, extremely psychic, and they had this intuitive way of making money. You could see a lot of people who were, bankers and were into building, real estate. This generation found a way to survive through tough times and push forward and make things happen no matter what. It's CancerTheCrab. It moves sideways, right? They're funny. They're about, connection and sensitivity and feelings. But if you hurt their feelings, that shell just crack, crack, crack. It's coming. They're hard on the outside, soft on the inside. The biggest part of the transformation for them is to learn to not hold on so tight, because they can be very obsessive or controlling over their family, their home, their property, their work, their money, their ability to provide. Because when you come from such a place of not having and poverty, it can create this obsession for safety and security. Because a lot of us don't know that realm of severe struggle. I mean, yeah, we have poverty today in America and different things and, parts of the world, but I mean, these people couldn't even imagine an iPhone. They were still around when they had Ma Bell and 5 cents for a phone call, and you had the rotary dial phones and all this stuff, and phone wire plugged in, and they first started to get radio in the homes. My grandparents had 6 kids in a 2-bedroom house. So 8 people, just imagine. Down in Tampa, Florida. Pluto, whatever generation it is, it's asking us, how can we not just merge with another, but how can we heal past our own trauma, pain, and crises? So these people had to accept, as they started to be able to have freedoms and work and have cars, could they feel still safe and secure? Because they had this imprint from when they were born of lack, of not having enough, not sure that things were going to be safe or okay. So then that makes you as a person want to hold on so tight with that crab leg arm, right? And just control everything. But then it can also make you kind of like the Cancer. Be silly. Have fun. Just kind of just want to connect and touch and make love and be free. A lot of Pluto in Cancer men were married more than once, or had other families, or had mistresses. And a lot of the women, they had to be these providers and protectors for their children and deal with what it was that they had to kind of manifest from nothing to like a meal. And if you just got porridge and apples, then you have it's like, how many grits for everybody, and here's some apple slices. It's it's deep. My grandmother was Pluto in Gemini. But my father and his siblings, they're all in this generation. And, you look throughout history, and like I told you, when I get to Pluto and Taurus and Gemini, I'm going to go in the future. I think Pluto in Cancer is the last one. I'm going back to 1914. Because we're already in 2021. There's no need to go past Pluto in Cancer going back. I'd rather go futuristic, because that's how your boy is. But I still love this generation and its imprint that it still has on the world, right? Think about the Pluto in Cancers. Some of them left a legacy that still is helping Pluto and Scorpio and Sag and Capricorn, right? It's opposite. Capricorn and Cancer together, there is this deep spiritual connection of making the bacon to bring it home and fry it up in a pan, to be the goat to achieve the status, and then have everything back at home, right? The zenith, the public, the Capricorn, and Cancer, the moon, the home, below the horizon. Remember, the sun's got no business down here. When you're in Pluto and Cancer, this is for deep soul, breath, intuitive, spiritual, psychic, nurturing, caring, protecting, providing energy. That might deal with intense emotions, but no matter what, will push through and survive. Because that's what this generation did through all these tough times, so that we could prosper and still be here today and live to tell, to talk about it. These people are no joke. You gotta salute them. You have to honor. You have to be so thankful and grateful to your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, and understand they endured, handled, prospered through such uncertain, dark times that they had to see the light within, internalize their emotions, push past, envision and dream past any fears and imagine a future. Going to bed hungry at night, not feeling safe in your home. They help transform this land, especially in America. It's very deep, Pluto in Cancer. We owe them quite a bit. I mean, think about it, 1914 to 1938. Oof. Just, it makes me emotional because I know what they dreamt of. If you made it out of that type of extreme poverty, you wanted to build something so foundational to provide for generations, to take care of your Pluto and Gemini parents, to take care of the concept of emotional security, the nurturing and the caring. And not just with food and water, clothing, shelter, but the promise that tomorrow home will be better, education will be better, peace will exist. You think about the wars, you think about the Depression, you're talking about world wars. Having these feelings of, what does this all mean? What is the purpose? All my uncles are in the military. And I know for black people at the time, my grandfather could only work on the railroad on both sides. And then a massage therapist and a deacon at the church. One the Baptist, one in the Catholic, but it was very hard. You think about Pluto in Cancer and then Pluto in Gemini, the parents of the Pluto in Cancers, their opportunities, what they could do was so limited, so little freedoms. You had to be someone of pride and integrity just to wake up each day and each morning to do the best you could to bring home such meager amounts of money. Most of you can't even conceive it. Think about that. I think of, what and where I come from, and there's so much power in that. And that's for all of you too. You have to honor your parents and great-grandparents. Because their power and transformation came from not having the safety and security to pushing, fighting, begging, imploring, imagining, inventing their own safety and security to have for their families, for themselves. Such integrity and dignity. My father was born in 32 and was brilliant. Self-made. And had the Pluto in Cancer, the 12th house. Woo! He was a bad boy. But, just try to understand when you think about the zodiac wheel and you think about this time and this generation, and even Pluto in Cancer, you know, America's chart is the Sagittarius Ascendant. You might hear me talk about it sometimes. So that means this Pluto in Cancer during this time was in the 8th house of debt, taxes, sudden events, inheritance, sex, power, trauma, crises. So that's where a lot of people in this country at this time were going through. Pluto in Cancer in America from 14 to 38 was going through some stuff. And you think about the secrets and lies that were going on and formulating at the base level. And people were starting to lose some of that ancient knowledge that they had from the motherland and triangle trade, and passed down the stories from slavery and indigenous people. Read your history books, see the things that were forming with the IRS and taxes at that time, banking, FBI, CIA, things that were forming in terms of, you know, all the letter people. Very, very interesting. There were a lot of secrets forming. Changes in how this country was going to move forward going into the Pluto and Leo. It's easy to see why they call this the last great generation, or the greatest generation. Because if you think about the Cancer imprint, this was the last of really making your cake and ice cream from scratch, having your own farm in your backyard. And on down south, the dogs were outside pets. Grandparents, they would cut off the chickens or see the heads, you know, but you'd have the fresh eggs, the fresh food, the cow, the pig, fruits, the vegetables. It's after this is when we started to get shelf stabilization and chemicals and things in cans, and it changed everything. When you look at human beings, they were healthier and had less illnesses and sicknesses. Really, anybody born after like 45, different foundation. Maybe you could say 48, but really, people born in 1914 to 38 and even in the early 40s, they are strong. Yeah, like that AC popping on. Strong. Pluto in Cancer, I just thank you. We understand, we understand what you were transforming motherhood, healing through the pain, trauma, and crises for mothers and families, and just that safety and security that a home or anything should and would and could provide, and what a homeland means. So I know I thank my uncles, and I thank my family for for pushing through, and I thank Pluto in Cancer for setting a bar, an imprint on protecting America, but also trying to become the beacon of light to the rest of the world. And then ironically at the same time, you know, with it being an 8th house in America's chart, the creation of so much deception, secrets, lies, let's just call it what it is, evil, FDA, all this stuff. So that, you know, it's deep. Pluto in Cancer is deep. Pluto generations are very deep. Astrology is deep. Gain this knowledge, learn, study. Check out TaylorTCoaching.com. Hit me up, TaylorTCoaching@gmail.com. Even if you, you know, want to try to get a birth chart of your grandparents and great-grandparents. You know their story, we can figure out the chart. It's fascinating to learn this legacy. And I'll show the example of my father's chart. It's amazing. And I was born in 1932, so right in this generation. Now my mother's Pluto and Leo. They were having a lot more fun, but still growing up very poor. You know, people didn't start to grow up with, you know, unless there were certain people, right? That generational wealth that came from free labor and slavery. But other folks didn't start to grow up with, you know, more money until end of Pluto Leo, more like Pluto Virgo. So, Pluto Cancer, I get you, I love you, I miss you, I understand you. Love you, Dad, miss you. And Pluto in Cancer, just thank you. Thank you for pushing through your pain to still find ways to create, provide, to heal, to nurture, to care for. This generation, they were great at making nothing into something. And nothing into something that was surreal, magical, like the moon. That moonlight. And these are powerhouse women. All right, Pluto in Cancer. Nature, night, darkness. I had to get it done. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of them got it right on their second or third marriage. And a lot of them left a legacy. So salute your parents or grandparents. Ask about them. Inquire, read about them. Talk to your parents and grandparents about your grandparents or great-grandparents. They have a story. You just got to learn about it. And it's worth learning about. 1914 to 1938, Pluto in Cancer, damn right, cardinal water sign, they were great. Thank you. Eric Taylor, Taylor 2 Coaching. Peace.